It's championship week. We got a bonus start sit show for you. Who would have let you down? Who would have let you down? We're gonna be here for you. We've been here for you all year long. We're gonna be here for you week 17 all the way to the end, which is something that's extra important to me this year, is to finish this season strong for you. Because last year I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to do it because I wanted to. I wanted to be here. Last year, the last like two, maybe even 2.5 weeks of the season, I had COVID and I was able to push through, even though I felt like shit. I was able to push through and do some shows, made a couple videos, made some content. But those that last start sit show or two, I couldn't do it because not only did I feel like shit, I couldn't speak a sentence. I couldn't get through a full sentence without coughing all over the place. So there's no way in hell I would have been able to do our start sit show last year or any content the last week and a half of the season. And I hated it. I hated every part of it. So that's why it's extra important to me this year to finish strong in 2024. Be here for the people like we've been all season long. That's why we've got a couple bonus start sit shows for you this week. We had a bonus one last week. It's playoff time. It's championship week. This is what we're here for. This is why we did everything that we did all off season, all season, grinding the waiver wire. There's nothing I hate more in the world than grinding the freaking waiver wire. Hate it with a passion. But we do it for this moment right here, championship week. This is why. And the questions are already starting to flow in, so I'm not going to waste any more time babbling away. Let's just get them. Let's hit them. It's Muscle March Fitness. What are your thoughts on? We got Josh Jacobs for RB1, but with the Connor news, struggling to decide between Breece Hall and James Conner. Happy holidays to you as well. Muscle March Fitness. Yeah, it sounds like James Conner's going to play. Sounds like James Conner is probably going to play. And, I was kind of hoping we were going to get some Trey Benson, even though I knew that Trey Benson had his own issues. He's got an ankle injury he's been dealing with. He didn't play last week. Would have been cool to see that pay off. I was pounding the table all summer long. We got to draft Trey Benson. James Conner has never made it through a full season healthy. Well, looks like he's going to make it. He's going to make it. I think he's going to play in week 17. So as far as between James Conner and Breece Hall, I actually have to update my rankings because I've not factored in that James Conner's going to play yet. So considering that James Conner is playing against the Rams on Saturday night tomorrow in LA, they're going to be underdogs in that game. But Breece Hall has been kind of, that offense has been terrible. They had one good week. Was the Jaguars? Everybody has a good week against the Jaguars, right? I think I'd still go with James Conner. I think I just trust the role of James Conner. I think if James Conner is healthy, if James Conner's out there, he's going to get the full extent of the workload. And considering that he is, with the Cardinals eliminated out of it, he's still going to play in this game. It tells me that his injury is probably not that big of a deal. Nothing we really have to worry about. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to roll with James Conner because you think the Bills, I mean, the Jets, they're going to be trailing from behind against the Bills the whole game anyway, right? Which maybe that's going to be, check downs to Brees Hall. But I just trust the roll. Doesn't matter. With the Cardinals, if they're trailing, they're still running with James Conner. They're still giving it to James Conner. They don't give a fuck. I'm gonna trust James Conner there. It's a tough one though. It is a tough one. I'm guessing once I update my rankings tonight to incorporate James Conner actually being healthy and playing in this game, I think they're going to be pretty damn close. I am going to rank James Conner ahead of Brees Hall though. Colts defense or Dolphins defense? So I don't rank defenses. So let me. I'm probably not the best person to ask for defense questions, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So Colts are playing. All right. Colts are playing the Giants. Colts are playing the Giants. That's a good start. That's a good start. And the Dolphins are playing. Why can I not think of this off the top of my head? Dolphins are playing the Browns. It's also good. Oh my God. They're both on the road. Both on the road. So we got Dorian Thompson Robinson. Or we got Drew Lock. I mean, pick your poison at that point. I think for me, I would go with the Colts defense because Drew Lock, I think, is even more susceptible to turnovers and sacks as opposed to Dorian Thompson Robinson, where Dorian Thompson Robinson just might not even throw the ball. He might throw the ball like 20 times, and they're just going to hand it off to Jerome Ford 35 times. And Dorian Thompson Robinson at least has that scrambling ability where if he's in trouble, he's, dealing with pressure, he can take off and run. Drew Lock, I guess he can a little bit, but he's not nearly as mobile as DTR. So getting away from sacks, which is what gives us so much fantasy points for defenses. I mean, at this point, it's really a flip of the coin between the Colts and the Dolphins. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Now, what I wouldn't do is if both of these are on your waiver wire or one of these is on your waiver wire and you're choosing between the other, I would want to roster them both. Just drop a guy on your bench. Just roster them both just so that your opponent doesn't pick up the other. Because this is a very feasible chance that these are the two highest scoring defenses on the week. I mean, pathetic offenses they're going against right now. But I think the Giant offense is just a smidge more pathetic than the Browns offense, and that's the way I would go with it. Carlos, although I would just want to shout out to Muscle March Fitness. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for your contribution, your participation in the show. Happy holidays to you as well. Much, much, much appreciated. Thank you very much. Carlos asking, now we got a kicker question. We go from defense question to kicker question. I am not the person to ask these types of questions to, but we give it a shot. Jason Sanders, so that's Dolphins against the Browns. Reichard, which is the Vikings. I think we got to play him. And Will Lutz, Broncos. Yes, Broncos. Against the Bengals. That could be a lot of points in that game. That's tempting. I'm really tempted to go Will Lutz there because I could see the Broncos scoring a lot of points, but maybe having to settle for a few more field goals than the Vikings would. With that said, like I said, I don't play in any leagues that actually have kickers, and I don't rank kickers. So I'm not quite in tune with how these kickers are scoring. My guess would be that Will Reichard, outside of the weeks that he's missed with that injury, if you do it on a per game basis, I'm guessing he's probably one of the highest scoring kickers in the league. So I'm just going to roll with him. That game's going to be a ton of points. Vikings, Packers, ton of fantasy points, ton of real life points going to happen in that game. I think I'd roll with him. Shadow is wicked. We need one for the flex. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. We got Chigakonkwo. I like Chigakonkwo this week. Rico Dowdle, Jerome Ford, Tajay Spears. We need one guy between all these guys. Whoo. Man. If Tony Pollard is out, I want to play Tajay Spears. But I'm going to guess that Tony Pollard, even though he's questionable, but he's been questionable for the last few weeks and he's played, I'm going to guess he's probably going to play. That is a good matchup against the Jaguars for Tajay Spears. I like that. With that said, I think I want to go Rico Dowdle, actually. I want to pull up the running back rankings for this one because this is going to be tight between Dowdle, Ford, even Spears. And I'm not wrong. I'm looking at my running back rankings. I got Jerome Ford as my RB18, Rico Dowdle as my RB19. So Ford definitely has a better matchup going against the Dolphins. And I think the Browns defense is good enough, and the Dolphins offense is just not playing well right now, where I could see the Dolphins not really scoring a lot of points in that game, which is part of why I don't want to play Jason Sanders as my kicker, going back to Carlos's question. But for Rico Dowdle, he's going against a tough Eagles defense. And I know it's going to be Kenny Pickett on the other side, but Kenny Pickett, that offense led by Kenny Pickett, even though he didn't play particularly well last week, it was enough to score a bunch of points. They scored a bunch of points in that game. So if they score a bunch of points again, the Cowboys are going to be playing from behind. Either way, it's a tough matchup. It's a tough defense for Rico Dowdle to have to run into. I think I'm going to go Jerome Ford. I think it's more likely that we saw it last week. We saw Jerome Ford rip off a 65, 66, 67-yard run right at the beginning of that game. He catches passes. He's explosive. Deontay Foreman, he did take 2 goal line carries on the first or second drive of that game. I think it was the first drive of that game, but that was coming off of that long run by Jerome Ford. And those are the only 2 snaps that he had the entire game. So it was the Jerome Ford game show. And they mix in a little bit of Pierre Strong, but I'm not too worried about that. I think I'm going to lean Jerome Ford here. My rankings have him 1 spot ahead of Rico Dowdle. I'm going to go Jerome Ford. I love Chigakonkwo, but if I have a workhorse running back, I'm going to rather play the workhorse running back. If I'm streaming the tight end position, I love Chig, but not over a Jerome Ford or a Rico Dowdle. If it was between Chig and Marvin Harrison Jr., we might have another conversation. But and speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., what are we doing? What are we doing with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Can we trust him? I don't think so. I mean, he did nothing last week, right? Against the Panthers, the matchup of all matchups. He had the greatest matchup. I know the game script wasn't going to be necessary. Even then, it was a high-scoring game. They scored a bunch of points, but they were playing from behind against the Panthers. That should have been. Let's have a conversation. That should have been a blow-up week for Marvin Harrison Jr. The matchup was there. The game script was there. That should have been the week where Marvin Harrison Jr. went off, and he didn't. So I can't put Marvin Harrison Jr. anywhere near my starting lineup this week. He's not going to sniff it. All my Marvin Harrison Jr. teams are dead anyway. I don't know. Is he a bust? I think it's too soon to call him a bust. Is it too soon to call him a bust? Let's say for 2024 redraft fantasy football, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a bust. Yes, he did not meet the expectations of his ADP. He's being drafted at the beginning of the second round. Some people are drafting him at the end of the first. That 10th, 11th, 12th pick. Some people are using those picks on Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a bust. Now, conversation for a different day is whether he's a bust for his career. It's way too soon to say that. He's given us some flashes. He's given us some flashes. What happens when, maybe a new offensive play caller comes in and says, you know what? We're going to use this guy a little bit differently. We're going to actually let him run some more sophisticated routes. Can actually, maybe give him some easier stuff as well, not just run him vertically, vertically, route after route after route after route, and just give him these. This is why you see every week Marvin Harrison Jr. every week, 4 catches on 8 targets. He's got like a 50% catch rate. Part of that is just the way that they're using him, the volatility of the routes and the throws that are going to Marvin Harrison Jr. They're not giving him any easy stuff to work with. They're not working him over the middle of the field, just out on the boundary. Line him up in the slot once in a while. Give him some slot routes. Give him an underneath crosser route. Give him something easy. I mean, I know, yards after catch is not really his game. I get that. But let's get the ball in the guy's hands. Let him get warmed up. Let him get into a rhythm. He's a rookie. He needs to get, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Feed him the football. So hopefully we'll get some type of change for that heading into 2025. Maybe we get a different offensive coordinator in Arizona. I'm not sure that's going to happen, unfortunately, but I think we got to hope for it. Now, while we're waiting for more questions, because we got a bunch last week when we did this, so we'll see. It takes a little bit of time for people to get in here. I do want to talk about Tyjae Spears. So I did briefly mention that if Tony Pollard is out, Tyjae Spears is a nice play. Tyjae Spears has actually been performing pretty well over the last couple of weeks with his little dunce cap. What are they called? What's he been wearing? Why can't I think of what it's called? Guardian cap, not a dunce cap. The dunce cap was like the punishment for the kids back in like 1700s or something, right? You put a little hat on, you sat in the corner, a little dunce cap. This is a Guardian cap for Tyjae Spears. He looks funky. He looks like, I'm trying to put my finger on what he looks like when he has that on, because he's so little. When that thing makes him as, you know what I'm talking about? There's like these little figurines. They got these big heads, little bodies. That's Tyjae Spears. It's hilarious. I can't think of what they're called, but I see it every time I look at him with that thing on there. If Tony Pollard is out, Tyjae Spears is a great play. Going against the Jaguars, they've been utilizing him a bunch in the passing game. He's been efficient. He's explosive. Outside of Calvin Ridley, maybe Chigakonkwo, he's like the one bright spot in that offense right now. I think they're going to want to give him some more work. I mean, even if Pollard's healthy, he is an interesting little streamer there. It might be the Funko Pops. Is that what? We got to look it up. Let's look it up. Funko Pops. We got no questions. Let's just look them up. Funko Pops. So the Tyjae Spears. This might be it. Oh, it might be it. This might be it. How is that not Tyjae Spears? All right. I wonder if they have a Tyjae Spears Funko Pop. This is great content. It's bonus start session. No, they don't have any Tyjae Spears Funko Pop. That's too bad. Here we go. Hold on, I'm gonna share my screen. Uh, There he is. It's Tajay Spears. This isn't exactly what I was picturing, but this came up when I was searching for it. It's hilarious. Tajay Spears. That's what he looks like. Get some damn questions in here, man. This is what happens. This is what happens. All right. Well, I do want to talk about how about Bo Nix? Bo Nix. He's kind of disappointed us for a couple of weeks. I think beginning of the fantasy playoffs, I said he was going to be a league winner quarterback. Now, he did give us, 20, 21 fantasy points last week. Still finished as the QB 15 or so, I think he was. But this is the week. If you're streaming quarterback, if you need a streaming quarterback, we're looking at Bryce Young going against the Buccaneers, and we're looking at Bo Nix going against the Bengals. I would prefer Bo Nix. Bo Nix, I mean, the Bengals, that's going to be a shootout environment. They're going to be playing from behind against the Bengals. Bengals are going to score a bunch of points, but the Bengals defense is terrible. So when you have a really good offense and a bad defense, that is like the perfect formula for an opponent to come in and score a bunch of fantasy points, especially in the passing game. That's what we're going to get from Bo Nix. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to have to score a lot of points to keep up with Joe Burrow and company. Which means we're going to get more dropbacks, more pass attempts, more passing yards, more passing touchdowns, more scramble opportunities for Bo Nix. I think he's a top 10. He could crack the top 6 or 7 this week, potentially. Championship week. Bo Nix. Are we here for it? I don't know. I just gave away one of my sleepers for the Sleepers and Streamers show that we're going to do here in about an hour. I know Sam's got something going on. He said we might start a little bit late this week. By the way, we usually do those on Saturday nights. I know it's Friday. The schedule's all messed up with these Saturday games and the Christmas holiday. So we're doing the Sleepers and Streamers show tonight. About 9:15 is when it's scheduled. Like I said, Sam, he said he's got something going on that may delay it a little bit, but just subscribe to the channel, put on the notifications. You'll get notified when we go live, probably between 9 and 9:30. Sleepers and Streamers, don't miss that one. How about I need Josh Allen to go off me this week? He let me down last week. Yeah, a little bit of letdown last week. I think we had a lot of Josh Allen teams get bounced in the semifinals. Really unfortunate. Got a lot of Jalen Hurts teams got bounced. Oh, man, I had one. I had a Jalen Hurts team. Dynasty League, defending champion. I was trying to defend my championship. I just missed getting the 1 seed. I ended up as the number 2 seed. And I lost because Jalen Hurts got a concussion in the first quarter. I lost by like 10 points. Would have been easy peasy. Just a standard Jalen Hurts game would have been an easy win for me. Lost that one, unfortunately. It really sucks as if I had gotten the 1 seed and I had played the whatever it was, this 5 seed, I think, that was playing against the 1. If I just had the 1 seed, I still would have won despite the Jalen Hurts injury. So that one really hurt. How about IP14's asking Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Jawan Jennings, or J.K. Dobbins in full PPR? Can't have a dud. All right. Well, it's championship week. We can't afford any duds. I'm with you. We can't afford any duds. Drake London looked pretty good last week with Michael Penix. Michael Penix looked solid. I know the fantasy points weren't there necessarily, but the game environment just didn't really ask for a lot of Penix production. They were blowing out the Giants. Kirk Cousins could have won that game. Okay. Kirk Cousins could have won that game. They didn't need to rely on Penix, but what we did get to see from Penix looked pretty good. He looked decisive. He looked like he knew what he was doing out there. He looked like he belonged. He looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback. He looked like he belonged. It was his first NFL game. He looked right. And his one pick was all Kyle Pitts' fault, which that's a conversation for another day. Is he a bust? Might also be a buy in dynasty leagues. I might try to buy. I've never been a Kyle Pitts guy. This might be the time to buy Kyle Pitts in dynasty right now. He's at an all-time low. I don't want to get off track too much, but that's what I do. He had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie. There's something there. There is something there. Just got to dig it out. Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Juwan Jennings, J.K. Dobbins, full PPR. J.K. Dobbins, I don't know. It's tough. Do we trust J.K. Dobbins? Because he'd be the no-brainer play for me here, to be honest with you. Patriots are a great matchup. Should be a good game environment for the running game for Los Angeles. But coming off the knee injury, Gus Edwards is out, though. Kamani Vidal, I hate to say it, he really hasn't looked good. He just hasn't gotten anything going. I was kind of hoping we'd see featured Kamani Vidal this week. Not going to happen. But I do think we have to factor in the risk that J.K. Dobbins is limited or he re-aggravates his knee injury. I think we've got to go. Man, I'm so tempted to play Juwan Jennings here. I think Juwan Jennings, I made a video earlier this week where I had a bunch of categories at, the boom bust play of the week, the best matchup of the week, the must sit of the week, so forth. I had 6 categories. My boom bust play of the week was Juwan Jennings. I think he can go big. I really do. I think he can go big this week. He's given us a couple top 10 performances this year, including wide receiver 1 back from week 3, week 4. I think he can have a big week. Am I playing him over Malik Neighbors or Drake London? Another question. Let's go to the rankings for that. Probably not, to be honest with you. Now, I smashed my boom bust play of last week, which was Calvin Ridley. Had a big touchdown. So I've got Drake London as my wide receiver 17. That could be a little sneaky shootout there going against the Commanders on the road. Jaden Daniels playing well. I got Malik Neighbors, great matchup, but terrible quarterback, terrible offense. That's a risky play. I know I always say, if you need 12 points, Malik Neighbors is like a lock to give you 12 points every week. 6 for 65. Boom. Easy. Done. Got it. No problem. He's going to get you there. He's going to get you 12 targets. He's going to get hurt on every play, but he's going to give you 12 targets. Probably catch 5 or 6 of them, 50, 60, 70 yards, and you're done. You got it. Good matchup against Colts. So because I think you're looking towards floor, Malik Neighbors is probably the play. If you want to swing, I think we need to swing for championship week. We might want to go Juwan Jennings. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I do have Drake London ranked ahead. I do. Oh, I didn't know this about the J.K. Dobbins contract incentive. That makes things interesting. But they're also vying for a playoff spot. I think that's going to come first. Precaution. So I don't know if his injury was that serious. That's possible too. I mean, that's actually a good point. Given the injury history of J.K. Dobbins, it made a lot of sense for them to operate with an abundance of caution with that knee injury. However, that could also translate to easing him back into the lineup. Are they going to be like, all right, you haven't played in a month, here you go, here's the full workload? I have a hard time believing that. If they're going to be cautious with the injury at the start of it, why wouldn't they be cautious with the injury coming out of it? That's a concern I have in a game where they should win easily, right? Against the Patriots, they should have no problem burying the Patriots. Their run defense is brutal. Their defense is just bad. The offense is terrible. Any other week, if J.K. Dobbins wasn't coming out of the injury, I'd say easy J.K. Dobbins. We do it. We're done. I can't trust it. I can't trust it. Roderick is asking, in the finals, I have a pretty good line. St. Brown, Khalil Shakir, Devon Achane, line up. Josh Jacobs, Rico Dowdle, all have tough matchups. Do I go with Chigakonkwo, high ceiling, or Hunter Henry, safe floor? Ooh, I love me some Chigakonkwo. I have Chigakonkwo ranked very highly this week, including over Hunter Henry. Now, that game environment, Chargers, Patriots, could be gross. This is not going to be the high-scoring game. This is not going to be, even last week, we saw Bills, Patriots, they both scored over 20 points. It was a fairly high-scoring game for a Patriots game. I don't think this is going to be that. I think the Chargers are going to come in knowing that they're favored, knowing that they want to run the football. They're going to play it close to the vest. They're just going to play it safe, conservative. They're going to run the crap out of the ball, which, going back to the previous question, maybe we want to go J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. But either way, I don't think the Chargers are going to come out and just blow the doors off the Patriots and score a ton of points, requiring the Patriots drop back a million times and throw the ball in comeback mode and try to keep up with that offense. So that could be a quiet Hunter Henry game. Do we get a Hunter Henry revenge game against the Chargers? I don't know. Chigakonkwo. Probably a pretty similar game environment, if we're being honest. Titans, Jaguars is not going to be what the Titans have had over the last 2 weeks with the Bengals. I had a big shootout with them. I can't remember who they played last week, but it was a high-scoring game in that one as well. So I do have some concerns that while Chigakonkwo has had, 10 targets 2 weeks ago, 11 targets last week, had 21 targets over the last 2 weeks. I'm concerned that the passing volume is going to come down a little bit. So maybe he might be more like in that 7 to 10 target range, which is still fine. That's still good. He's an explosive player. He can make a lot out of those targets. He's clearly somebody that they are wanting to involve in that offense, that Mason Rudolph is wanting to be heavily involved in that offense at this point in the season. I think Chigakonkwo maybe isn't as safe of a floor as Hunter Henry. I do think his floor isn't that far below Hunter Henry at this point, given his usage over the last few weeks. His ceiling is certainly higher. We are here to win championships. We're not here to finish second. We are playing to score fantasy points. I don't play it safe. I play to win. You play to win the game. Huh? Herm Edwards, Hello, you play to win the game. We're going to play Chigakonkwo. I think he's the guy. I'm trusting him this week. I think you should trust him. Fire him up. Let's win this thing. Let's go win this thing. Or go down dying. No. Die trying. I don't know. go down dying. That's definitely not the saying. How about from a halt cone? I can't read. I got glasses on. I still can't read what that says. Halt cone. This is a disaster. I hope the Sleepers show goes better. We're going to do that in about an hour right here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. I would promise to be in a much better headspace. Cortland Sutton, T. Higgins, or this is what I'm talking about. Ladd McConkey in PPR. Cortland Sutton, T. Higgins, Ladd McConkey, PPR. What are we doing here? Yes. Can we just play them all, please? I want to play them all. I love Cortland Sutton this week. I love the matchup against the Bengals. Could be a lot of points scored in that game. T. Higgins, same thing on the other side. I believe the Broncos are getting Riley Moss back this week, but he's going to be on a pitch count. Ladd McConkey, we talked about the game environment of the Patriots. He should still give you a pretty decent game. Is the ceiling gonna quite be there as it normally is? Maybe not. All right. So for me, let's pull up the rankings. I feel like I sound like Tony Romo, just making all kinds of sounds. Okay, Jim. What we're gonna do here? This show is totally off the rails. I promise I'm sober. All right, I've got. I actually have. All right, I got them ranked back to back to back. Okay. I got Lad. I can't talk. Lad McConkey, wide receiver 13. I actually have him ahead. Cortland Sutton, wide receiver 15. And T. Higgins, wide receiver 14. McConkey, Higgins, Sutton. Man, they all play tomorrow. That's interesting. I guess off my rankings, we're going to go Lad McConkey. My gut currently, I want to go T. Higgins. If I had to choose right now, I usually do lean back on my rankings because I make them earlier in the week when I kind of have a chance to just sit down in a much clearer mind than now. And actually really think about these matchups. So I usually lean back on that. Right here, right now, my gut, my heart is telling me I want to go T. Higgins. I want to play T. Higgins. I think that's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. I really do. And I know the Broncos defense reputation is they're tough against the pass or good defense. They haven't been that great the last few weeks. I know they're getting Moss back, like I mentioned, but they are also going to have to worry about Jamar Chase. Now Sam's telling me that T. Higgins is banged up. Damn it. I thought right when we had a decision made. I want to go T. Higgins. Honestly, for real, I don't think you can go wrong. And I totally get why you're having such a hard time with this because I'm having the same hard time. I have them ranked back to back to back. 3 in a row, 13, 14, 15. I don't think you can go wrong here. And because of that, you're going to go wrong. The guy that you choose is not going to be the right choice. It's just how it happens. It's just how it works. That's fantasy football for you. Hopefully it won't cost you. Hopefully it won't cost you the week. I would go T. Sam says, watch the injury report. I'm going to go T. Higgins. All right, I think we'll take this till about. I think we'll take this till about 8:30. Give me a little bit of time between this show and the Start Sit show. But I said that last week as well, and the questions just came flooding through, and we just kept going. So if that happens, we're going to keep going. Been a slower week, a slower show than it was last week. I am going to do another Start Sit show tomorrow. I'm going to do another one at 12 tomorrow, leading up to kickoff. So, maybe come back and ask me again. I might feel differently. Who knows? I'll flip a few coins for you. I don't know. We'll take this for another 5 minutes or so. I'll try to think of something to talk about in the meantime while we're waiting for questions. Now, all right. So I like Juwan Jennings as a boom bust play this week. We talked about that earlier. Bucky Irving is going to smash. Now, I was so wrong about Bucky Irving. I can't even tell you how wrong I was about Bucky Irving. Going back about a year ago when I started working on the 2024 rookie class, doing my prospect profiles, keep an eye out for those coming in the next few weeks for the 2025 class. Bucky Irving, early on, before the combine, I said Bucky Irving is probably a top 3 running back in the class. Probably a top 3 running back. And then he absolutely dudded out at the combine. He fell flat on his face. He ran slow. Just wasn't. He was terrible. For a small running back to be that unathletic in the testing, it was a bad sign. It was a really bad sign. And I faded him into oblivion. I really did. I remember I remember it was a day in the summer. I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. I was listening to a podcast. I had just come back from a walk. I was making lunch, a couple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they were talking about the best handcuff running backs in football. One of the guys mentioned, I don't remember what podcast it was. I remember everything else except for what podcast. One of the guys mentioned Bucky Irving, and I literally in my kitchen, spreading my peanut butter on my sandwich, laughed out loud. Bucky Irving? Are you kidding me? No, Bucky. This is the rush. Now, I'm also a Rachaad White guy. Always have been, always will be. With all that said, which didn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it. Bucky Irving is going to be a league winner. He's going to be a league winner. He's going to be the reason. If you have Bucky Irving in your lineup this week, I know you don't need me to tell you to start him. If you have him in your lineup, you can feel so good about that. I love your chances of winning this week. He's going to be the reason why you win this week. It's going to be an amazing matchup. Great role, great workload. He's playing well. He's kind of shaking off those hip and back injuries that he was dealing with a couple of weeks ago. Rachaad White fumbled at the end of the game last week. Remember? Rachaad White cost them the game on that last possession. Dropped the ball, got stripped. It could mean more Bucky Irving in week 17. They're vying for a playoff spot. They fell out of the lead for the NFC South last week. They need to win this week. They're going to lean on their best running back. Big Bucky Irving week going against the Panthers, who he ran for 152 yards against just 3 weeks ago. Fire up Bucky Irving, baby. Woohoo, fire up Bucky Irving. How about this one from Oscar? Ladd McConkey or J.K. Dobbins full PPR? Yeah, this one's tough. This one is kind of similar to one of the questions we got earlier. I think we got to go Ladd McConkey. If it wasn't for J.K. Dobbins coming off that injury, man, I want to go J.K. so bad. I really want to go J.K. so bad. But Ladd McConkey's been consistent. He's been consistently getting peppered with targets at high volume. I expect that's going to continue this week. I think he's the safer play. I really do. I think he's the safer play. Just roll with him. If he catches 5 passes for 85 yards, I think we're happy. A nice 13.5 points. I think that's probably about what you can expect from J.K. Dobbins as well, without the risk of them easing J.K. back in, getting him, on a snap count or re-injuring the knee, re-aggravating the knee. Remember, this should be a game that they should handle the Patriots with no problem, right? So why would they risk J.K. Dobbins when they are on the brink of going to the playoffs in a game that they're going to smash no matter what? I think I'd trust Ladd over Dobbins in this particular scenario. Now, Sam's going to hate on himself for picking Kendrick Miller last week. And not only I'm going to let him do it, but I'm also going to remind him that he picked Kendrick Miller 2 weeks in a row. I also tweeted at him right before the kickoff last week that Kendrick Miller was going to take 12 carries for 39 yards, and he couldn't even get that done. But Sam's been killing it on the Sleepers and Streamers show all year long. There was a week, 2 weeks ago, I think, I was 0 for 3. And then I think in the same show, he was 3 for 3. So one bad call, we'll forgive him. We'll forgive him. But better step up his game tonight. Appreciate you, Oscar. How about need one wide receiver and one flex? Deebo Samuel, Garrett Wilson, Rachaad White, Brian Robinson Jr. All right, so let's start with the wide receiver. Deebo played pretty well last week. He looked the best he's looked in a while, right? Garrett Wilson, so we're going to get a squeaky wheel gets the grease type of game from him. Oh, man, that one's brutal. That's a brutal decision. All right, pulling up the rankings for this one. I get Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 29 against the Bills. Deebo Samuel as my wide receiver 35. Feels kind of low against the Lions. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. I just trust Garrett Wilson. I think he's a more real wide receiver. I still think Deebo's a fraud. I really do. I think Deebo's a fraud. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson as the wide receiver. In the flex, yeah, I agree. I think it is low, by the way. I do think it's low. But I don't think it's that low. I really don't. I don't think it's that low. We'll move on up a little bit. The other one, man, Rashad White is tempting. I love the matchup, but we just talked up Bucky Irving way too much to be able to say we can go Rashad White. Brian Robinson hasn't done much in a while. I think we might just fire up Deebo there. We go Deebo and we go Garrett Wilson. Let's assume this is a PPR format. Let's go with the two wide receivers. Fuck it. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride. Roderick asking full PPR flex. Rico Dowdle, Michael Pittman, Amir Abdullah. Rico Dowdle pretty easily for me. Unless we're going to get Flacco, which I don't think we're going to get Flacco. I know for a second there at the middle of the week, it looked like there was a chance we might get Flacco, but I believe it is going to be Richardson. We can't trust Michael Pittman. I don't care that he's going against the Giants. That might even make me want to trust him less. Why are they even going to drop back to throw in that game? They're just going to hammer Jonathan Taylor, and they're going to run it with Anthony Richardson. And then even when they do pass, they're going to throw it to Josh Downs. I want nothing to do with Michael Pittman. Nothing. I love Michael Pittman. I want nothing to do with him. I said weeks ago you could drop him. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle here. I know the matchup is tough. It is tough. Amir Abdullah's interesting. But I want to go Rico Dowdle here. Honestly, don't love any of these particularly here. I want to go Rico Dowdle. Guaranteed touches. Offense is playing pretty well. I know it's a tough matchup, but I'm going to trust Rico Dowdle there over those other fellas. How about from Max Keller? Is that the guy from ESPN? No, that's Max Kellerman, right? Yeah, the guy who's kind of a douchebag. Always hating on Tom Brady and the Patriots. All right. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels. Ooh. Oh, man. How do you make this choice? I pulled up the rankings. You can find the rankings at yardsperfantasy.com, by the way. I don't mention that enough. Yardsperfantasy.com. I have Jaden Daniels ranked as not Max Kellerman. Well, that's good. I appreciate that because I would not answer it if you were. Jaden Daniels is my QB3 this week, or Joe Burrow, he's my QB4. I got the rank back to back. These are both great plays, top 4 quarterbacks this week. I guess we go Jaden Daniels, but I feel great about both of them. If I had to choose, I'd go Jaden Daniels against the Falcons. That could be that could be a fun little rookie versus rookie matchup. Michael Penix. We're going to see the big Penix on the big stage on well, this makes it different. You didn't tell me this part. Okay. You have Jamar Chase as well. All right, then we're gonna go Joe Burrow. That's the tiebreaker. Let's go Joe Burrow. Let's get the stack. Let's maximize our upside. Let's go win the fucking championship with the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack. Let's do it. Fire him up, baby. Fire him up. No, I actually like the Bengals. Sam thinks I hate the Bengals. I just know that they're a terrible defense, and I always pick players against them, which is smart. Anyway, we're gonna go Joe Burrow there. That's a tiebreaker. How about from Max Kellerman? Not Max Kellerman. Pick two. Oops. Pick two. Full point PPR. AJ Brown, Aaron Jones, Juwan Jennings, Jameson Williams. I was so wrong on Jameson Williams last week, by the way. I talked him up as the absolute must sit of the week. I said he couldn't perform on natural grass outdoors in the cold. So wrong. So wrong. All right. 2 full point PPR. AJ Brown, Aaron Jones, Juwan Jennings, Jameson Williams. I want to play AJ Brown. AJ Brown got peppered and peppered and peppered. He had a 60% target share last week. 60% of the passes from Eagles quarterbacks last week went to AJ Brown. I don't see why that's going to be any different. We see this with backup quarterbacks and bad quarterbacks all the time. They come in and they lock in on the number one wide receiver in an offense. So while maybe we can't trust Devontae Smith, maybe we can't trust Dallas Goedert, especially because Dallas Goedert's on IR. Can't trust Grant Calcaterra, I should have said. We can trust A.J. Brown. Pickett's going to lock in on A.J. Brown. He's going to force feed targets to A.J. Brown. I'm not worried about Kenny Pickett for A.J. Brown. The efficiency might not be what it is when Jalen Hurts is out there, but the volume will make up for it. We're going to go A.J. Brown. Then it's a tough choice between Aaron Jones, revenge game against the Packers, Juwan Jennings. I think this could be a huge game for Juwan Jennings against the Lions, or Jameson Williams, who's going to be in that same game environment with a ton of points being scored. He can go off at any time. We've seen that. Oh, I want to go Aaron Jones, I think. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. Usually the tiebreaker, I break with the running back for the guaranteed touches. It's going to be a shootout environment. There's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. It's going to be revenge game narrative against the Packers. Is it in Green Bay? Is this one in Green Bay? I don't even know. It is. No, no, dud. No, not in Green Bay. Doesn't matter. It might even be more reason to play Aaron Jones at home. I usually like to play running backs at home, wide receivers on the road. Let's go Aaron Jones. Let's go A.J. Brown. Honestly, I think they're all great plays. I would love to find a way to get Juwan Jennings in that lineup, but I think we go Brown and Jones. How about from TP31? Jaden Reed, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Josh Downs if Flacco plays? This is easy for me, Jaden Reed. We're going to go Jaden Reed because this is going to be a high-scoring game in the Dome, in Minnesota, on the road, against a high-scoring Vikings offense. They're going to have to throw the ball a ton. When the Packers and the Vikings played back in week 4, I believe it was, that was the most pass attempts that Jordan Love has had in a game all season long. He threw the ball 54 times. I think Jaden Reed could be a big beneficiary of that. They're going to score a lot of points. It's going to be an explosive game. I think we could get some big plays from Jaden Reed. A couple of touchdowns maybe. I want to go Jaden Reed. Definitely over Marvin Harrison Jr. and definitely over Josh Downs. I've seen enough of Josh Downs. I've seen enough of the Colts passing offense. That game environment is not going to require a lot of pass attempts. They're going to be playing from ahead. The whole game is going to be a Jonathan Taylor game. I want Jaden Reed. They're going to be playing from behind, having to score a lot of points, lots of passing. I know we've had some weeks where the passing volume in Green Bay has been pretty low. That's not going to be the case this week. There's going to be a lot of pass attempts for Jordan Love. I love Jaden Reed this week. Jaden Reed could be a sneaky little league winner this week. I'm telling you. Jaden Reed. Johnny Klein asking PPR pick 2. I'm scared of the rain. All right, get an umbrella. I don't know what to tell you. Jaden Reed, Jameson Williams, Adam Thielen, Rain, Jalen McMillan, Rain. What the hell is this question? All right. We don't give a shit about the rain. unless there's wind involved, or it's below 32 degrees, which turns it into snow, or if it's like a monsoon. As far as I know, none of that's happening. So we got to pick two of these guys. Just talked up Jaden Reed. I think we want to go Jaden Reed. I also want to go ahead and Thielen against the Buccaneers. But I really want to play Jalen McMillan against the Panthers. Damn it. No Cade Otton. No Sterling Shepard. I want to play Jalen McMillan. Fuck. I hate fantasy football. Why can't we just play them all? Just play them all. I want to play them all. Damn it. Your team's too good, man. Your team's good. It's a good team. I think Thielen gives you that perfect combination of ceiling and floor. I think that's going to be another game where Bryce Young is going to have to throw the ball a lot. I think he threw the ball a ton when they played against the Buccaneers just a few weeks ago. Threw for 298 yards. I think he threw 46 times, I believe. I was just looking at it before the show. So I want to play Adam Thielen. And I think I want to play Jaden Reed for the reasons I just spoke about 30 seconds ago. So let's go Jaden Reed. Let's go Adam Thielen. But just know, I love me some Jalen McMillan in week 17 as well. If you're scared of the rain, there you go. There you go. You don't need to play him. How about from Dylan? Championship week, baby. Let's go, Dylan. Let's go. We're going to win. We're going to win. You're going to win. I'm going to win. We're all going to win. We're winners here. That's what we do. Questions strictly for tomorrow's games. Dylan does mention he'll be back for Sunday questions. I just want to remind people, and I don't know if I've announced this or not. I'm not going to be able to come on here and do start-sit questions on Sunday this week, unfortunately. However, I'm going to do one tomorrow before tomorrow's games, 12 o'clock Eastern time, all the way up to kickoff. We will be doing the same exact thing, start-sit questions. So if you have start-sit questions and you don't get them in tonight, get them in here tomorrow. Of course, we're always available in the Yards for Fantasy Discord as well, or on Twitter. One running back, one tight end. J.K. Dobbins, Amir Abdullah. In this case, I do want to play J.K. Dobbins. I would play him over Amir Abdullah. Now, I've seen Amir Abdullah talked about in a lot of sleeper articles and podcasts and videos this week. I actually think this is against the Saints. This is more of an Alexander Madison game because they're going to be – it's the Saints. I know it's the Raiders, but it's also the Saints. They're going to blow – maybe not below that team. I don't know if the Raiders are capable of blowing anybody out, but they're going to be leading in that game. This is going to be a much more Alexander Madison game script type of environment. I want to play J.K. Dobbins there. I know there's some risk with the injury, but I don't think when you compare his floor and his ceiling to Amir Abdullah's floor and ceiling, I don't think we're losing a whole lot. When we talk about the risk of playing J.K. Dobbins versus Amir Abdullah, I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins there. And we did get this tight end question earlier in the show. Hunter Henry versus Chikakonkwo, and we decided to go Chikakonkwo. If you want to rewind and listen to my explanation on that, you can, but I want to go Chikakonkwo there. He's going to give you a much higher ceiling, and I don't think his floor is very far below Hunter Henry's. Just the way that the Titans have been using Chikakonkwo over the last few weeks. Like I said, you can rewind and listen to my explanation on that question because somebody else had the same question earlier. And then for wide receiver, we need Cortland Sutton or Devontae Smith. I definitely want to go Cortland Sutton this week. They're going against Sam's Bengals. Sam's terrible Bengals defense. I don't know if Sam's still in the chat or not, but we're going Cortland Sutton. I just think that game environment and matchup for Cortland Sutton is going to be night and day compared to what Devontae Smith's going to get. With Kenny Pickett, we talked about how with these bad quarterbacks, these backup quarterbacks come in and they lock in on the number one wide receiver, which is going to be A.J. Brown in that offense. That's going to leave, just the scraps left over for Devontae Smith, whereas Cortland Sutton is more the focal point of the offense in a game where Bo Nix could drop back 45 times. This could be a big week for Bo Nix, for Cortland Sutton. I want to start him. And at quarterback, there's a lot of questions packed in here. I want to go Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray. Baker Mayfield's a league winner. Just fire him up. Love him this week against the Panthers. And then Hunter Henry, Jake Ferguson, and Payne Durham. Oh, my God. Brutal. Definitely Hunter Henry on that one. All right, how about Oscar is asking Baker Mayfield or Justin Herbert? Normally would go Baker without hesitation. However, the weather and last time Baker faced the Panthers, he didn't do so well. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to play Baker Mayfield. I want to go right back to Baker. I want Baker. I want to go with Baker. I love the matchup. I know last time, that was last time. It could be different this time, right? Still a fantastic matchup. The Panthers offense has been playing much better. Bryce Young has been playing much better, which could push the Buccaneers to have to keep that pedal to the metal throughout this game. The Buccaneers are playing a little bit more desperate football right now, considering that they lost the lead in the division last week. Now they need to win out. They need the Falcons to lose in order for them to make the playoffs. They're going to be desperate. They're going to be throwing. I think they're going to put this game on the shoulders of Bucky Irving and Baker Mayfield. I want to play Baker. Whereas for the Chargers, they're going to have no problems with the Patriots. They're going to lean on the run game, lean on Kamani Vidal and J.K. Dobbins. So I would rather go Baker. Baker got you here. I think we keep rolling with Baker Mayfield. Now, I don't know what this whole weather thing is. I guess I haven't been as in tune with the weather. Not something I usually look at until Saturdays, but I guess this game is on Saturday, so maybe I should have looked at it ahead of time. Unless it's windy or a monsoon or it's crazy snow, I don't care. All right, we got to hurry up here because we do have I got another show that's supposed to start in about 15 minutes right here on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. We're going to talk sleepers and streamers. We will also answer questions on that show. So let's hurry up. Let's go rapid fire through these last few questions. Then we'll jump over to that show and then take it from there. All right. Moonwalking is asking, should I flex Cooper Kupp over Jonnu Smith? Yes. I want Cooper Kupp. I want Cooper Kupp over Jonnu Smith, weather or no weather. I got Stafford, Henry, Hubbard, Bowers. There's just their lineup. Is Connor in? Sounds like James Conner is going to play. We don't have a definitive answer on that quite yet, but it sounds like he's going to play. Jonnu Smith or Chiga Okonkwo? Ooh, this is a tough one. It's actually a really tough one. I do have Jonnu Smith ranked ahead of Chiga Okonkwo. I guess we go Jonnu Smith there, but I think Chiga Okonkwo has a higher ceiling. If you need a big ceiling play, I think we do it. Start Connor over Cooper Kupp in the league neighbors, J.K. Dobbins or Deebo Samuel in the flex. My answer to that would be yes. I would start Connor over all of those guys, assuming he gets the thumb up, which I expect he will. Dobbins or Ford at the flex. I'm going to go Jerome Ford. I'm going to try to play it safe for the J.K. Dobbins coming off the injury this week. Yes, we are playing James Conner. If James Conner is playing, I think we're playing him. We trust it. Dobbins or Ford. Let's go Ford. Should we start T. Higgins? I'm trusting T. Higgins this week. I like T. Higgins. Yeah, I agree with Joey. We're starting T. Higgins. Hawkinson or Okonkwo. I think we go Okonkwo here. I have Chig ranked as my tight end 9. I have Hawkinson as my tight end 12. Let's go with Chig Okonkwo. Should we start Chuba Hubbard? Again, I don't know who your other options are, but sounds like he's going to be fine. I'm going to roll with Chuba Hubbard if he's out there. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to roll out Rasheem Blackshear? Like, come on. they're going to give it to Hubbard. I'm going to trust Hubbard. And we'll just, didn't we answer this question 3 times? J.K. Dobbins or Jerome Ford? We're going to go Jerome Ford in the flex. All right. Got another show here coming up with Sam in about 15 minutes. Where you're going to go right here on the Yards for Fantasy YouTube channel. We are going to talk sleepers and streamers for week 17 for the championship week. We're also going to answer some questions, give you our bold predictions. Stay tuned for that. We got another start sit show coming tomorrow at 12. Don't miss that. I really, really appreciate everybody who tuned into this, has been with us all season long. This is why we do it. We do it for you. I really appreciate it. See you guys here on this channel in a few minutes. Like, subscribe. Peace out.